auction.
Okay.
Until they're out there. The state doesn't allow us to have vehicles displayed up front if they're not for sale. So they're not for sale, they have to get moved on from there.
But do you have a storage lot that, you don't have a storage lot at all where you can keep other vehicles?
Whenever we get a trade-in, we try to get them out as fast as possible.
So there's no other cars being stored in any other part of Gardner?
All right.
Okay.
No.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Tori, you have a question?
I do. With the new information tonight, that possibly it could be 8 cars, if you had to go the route of a special use permit, let's say the rezone was it, is that feasible? I know you said 4 was not.
No,
Is 8 or...
we won't be able to keep the business open. If the special use permit, one, it has to go through first, right? So we have to start all over from square one. So if it were to get approved, and if it were to be limited somewhere between, let's just say 5 to 8 for a reasonable amount, it's not enough for us to sustain a business when we're selling 6 cars in a week. We're having to go to auction each week, so we're trying to keep approximately 10 to 15 vehicles when we can at any given time, based on the demand that we've had for auto sales. So if it does not go through, then we would, of course, would try for because at this point it's an unknown answer, but with 8 it would cause us to have to shut down.
I think at this point, I am surprised that it has gone this far. I personally thought that the city would be trying to help us be successful, to encourage more people in this community to step out and get involved with their community. Never thought that this would have came to this. We don't have a lot of money. We made the best of what we have. And I think a lot of times, sometimes you have to do that. And sometimes you win doing it. But I think it should be our community that makes the decision if we make it or not the city. The city gave us permission. The city told the state of Kansas that we were okay. The city implied to the state of Kansas that this was okay for us to do. And then the city changed their mind.
Okay. Can I look at that first slide of the overhead dimensions of the property that you put up, Mike? Maybe it wasn't the first slide, but by the way, I think I called them the lessors or the lessees, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, that one. Oh, go back one. That one right there. So, I guess my first question is that property to the north of the northern boundary, is that actually Gardner Bank property?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there an easement or some agreement between them to allow those cars to be stored?
I think I misunderstood your question. One thing you have to look at with these aerial photos is sometimes the property lines are off a little. Mm-hmm. So I can't point to it, but you can see part of the parking lot for Singh's property that's paved where the cars are parked. That is on Singh's property.
So the area where those cars are parked is their property?
Along the north property line, right.
Is it that far off?
The blue line can get off when you create a map.
Now,
and I know that because I've looked at a survey, an old survey in a file.
Mm-hmm. What about the western boundary? Does it stop at the curb, or?
I don't know specifically. I don't have a copy of the site plan.
I guess my question is, when the times I've been by that location, I've seen people looking at cars on what appears to be the running trail, and I'm guessing does the city allow private businesses to do business on their property?
I think it's fair to say they're not parked on that property. If someone were to be standing there and looking at a vehicle, I don't think the city would take any issue with that. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know, but I'm just asking, we don't allow business to be conducted on city property,
but there's no business being conducted there.
Well, if he's showing a car and people are walking on the walkway, and I've seen cars being charged, the batteries being charged, what appears to be something like akin to jump starting on that. I've seen Mr. Jones walking back and forth across the the running trail, I've seen, I mean, I guess my question is, how do you conduct business to show a car and have it overhang what appears to be Gardner property?
How many feet are from the running trail?
I mean, these are all questions I guess I'm asking.
But I mean, I guess I look at the trail as it's a Gardner citizens property, so, and I would assume Mr. Jones is that, and probably a lot of the people are, so
But generally, we expect people to conduct business on the boundaries of their property, not...
There's actually grass in between the running trail and the...
Well, that's what I'm asking, is the property line for their property, does it end at the curb?
I believe it's close to the curb. There is grass between the property, or excuse me, between the property line and the walking path. Certainly, you wouldn't want a business occupying the walking path and blocking traffic. That's not a, just to answer your question, that's not a situation you're confronted with in reviewing any kind of application very frequently.
Well,
I mean, it's an unusual...
Right, I guess that's what I'm saying is, it would appear that there's not enough space to conduct business if the cars are against the curb, and in order to look under the hood, people have to get on the trail.
No, that's not correct.
That's not correct?
That's not correct at all. Where the cars are, there's grass. So if we were to stand on the curb where the cars are parked, you'd actually be stepping on the grass, which is about 4 feet wide until you actually get to the walking path.
And I'm not that big, man. I can't be in both places at the same time.
Mr. Mayor.
And I'm not sure that I've anybody else is concerned that that's part of the problem with the property. I do have a question for Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I'm sorry that you got sit down, but this has drug on for quite some time. I'm wondering if, in the understanding what the situation may present, if you've had a chance to explore C3 zoned properties within Gardner and found anything that might be an available solution, or what you've ran into, and you might need to step up because it won't be heard on the speakers. I apologize.
We've actually, as you know, the map's a little hard to read. So we've actually driven down, there are some C3 on this main, and actually the empty gas station that's no longer a gas station, that's a store, that's actually C3 if I'm not mistaken, from what I could tell from the map. None of those lots that we've been able to find that are in a location where there would be any traffic are currently vacant. But that is something that we have been looking at. We've looked, there's a vacant old gas station, but it's currently not for sale. So we have definitely looked at our options. We are keeping our eye open for property we could grow in. Currently, the property across the street is Zone C3, directly across the street, which I have in the presentation. And if the property was for sale, I think it's $1 million an acre, we could buy an acre there, and we could just go right across the street.
Now, the problem that you run into, opening a car lot isn't cheap. If I have to come out to buy enough cars over a car lot, it could cost you anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000 to get going on a car lot. I think the perception is for car lots in the city of Gardner is that the city of Gardner doesn't want car lots. So with the troubles I've had here, I don't know if I could consider spending or taking a chance of risking my money to try to find another place in Gardner. What we did with this spot here is we took what little we had and made the best out of it. We want to grow, but I think that's up to the citizens and up to how well I do business. And we are selling cars, but I'm not sure how long it's going to take.
Mr. Jones, I have to dispute with you the fact that the city, or your assertion that the city doesn't want a car lot in this community. I think we want a car lot in this community. I've got a 15-year-old son. He's going to be getting a car next year. I'm sure not going to have to pay a full price for a new car. I'd like to go to a used car. I'd especially like to go to a used car in a city that, that's a local business, it's got a local person running it, that I can go to on a handshake and make a deal. So I would absolutely dispute that.
Well, everyone that we've had, that's the
perception that the
feedback.
community has given us. We're not from Gardner.
Yeah.
This is what your people are telling me.
The other
If you read
dealers,
the newspaper, this is what your businesses are telling us. We're not making this up. You've got Big O Tires are telling me about the parking lot issue. You have the guy cook over the hill telling you about the train issue that they have and where his property line, how the city bullied him around. You have restaurants telling us all this stuff. We're not making this up. We have the car lot that tried to start over here behind Price Chopper, who said the city pushed them out of here. I think his name was
Mike Kale.
Mike Kale.